Welcome to VNA Health Highlights, a program of the Visiting Nurse Association of Cape Cod. I'm Jeanne Sarnosky, and on today's program we're going to learn a little bit more about the We Can program. And we're lucky enough today to have the Executive Director of We Can, Andrea Genser.
Great.
Great, I did it.
You did. Thanks for inviting me, Jeanne.
All right, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I always like to start with, for the viewers to know just a little bit about you and
Sure.
how long have you been here and how did you get inspired into this program?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I didn't start We Can. I'll just start with that. It was here before I was, but I've been on the Cape full-time for 5 years.
Okay.
And I've been with We Can for 3. And most of my life and work career, I worked in the field of early childhood education, child care. So I've been in the nonprofit world for, I don't know, 40 years. I guess I would say 40 years of work in education and kind of the helping professions. And when I'm not doing that, I like to be cycling and photographing. And Cape Cod's a beautiful place to live. So.
Yeah, for all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Good.
great to be here.
So you've sort of just have an innate mission-driven spirit.
Yes, I guess
to do that.
Yeah, that would be the way to say it.
I find that in people in nonprofits to lead that way. It's like always have
whole
been,
life,
always
so.
will be. Yeah, that's great.
And We Can is an organization that stands for Women's Empowerment Through Cape Area Networking. So it's actually an acronym. We write it with all capitals.
And that's great because it just reads well as a standalone too.
Yeah. And we're up in Harwichport, right on Route 28, down from here. Got here in about 7 minutes. And we actually have a new building, which is really exciting. We can talk about that later. But anyway, what we're really about is supporting women who might be going through any kind of transition or needing any kind of support from an organization. And I can talk more as we go on about what some of those things are. But the mission of the organization really sang to me because it's all about, we say, empowering women to achieve lasting positive change. So we're not an organization that does things for people. We're an organization that does things with people. And we really try to support women to be their best selves and listen to what they need and then try to support them.
Okay. So some teaching involved there, education?
We do a lot of workshops. We do a lot of answering the phone for all kinds of questions, whether it's the woman who calls and says, I just had surgery on my teeth and I need to find someone who will accept a payment plan, to the woman who calls and says, my husband passed away a year ago and I'm looking for some kind of extra support. My support group is just ending. To a woman who is trying to start a business and needs some legal advice, or someone who needs some financial advice. So it could be all different kinds of things.
Okay. So back to how long has We Can been around?
So We Can is in its 12th year.
Okay.
It started as a program at Cape Cod Community College in the old days when there was funding for this called Women in Transition.
Okay.
And when that program was, for whatever reason, coming to an end, many of the women who had been helped by it came together, and Jackie, and who was at the college, and a few others started We Can as a separate nonprofit organization. Jackie Scarborough, Dick Sullivan, and a few others.
Okay.
And so that's what We Can's roots kind of go back to 4 Cs.
Okay.
And we started in a little office in Harwichport, and we've been in Harwichport all the time.
And now the new building is.
And we're just let's get that out of the way. So we've been, we used to be above Bonnet's Bakery in Harwichport, right in the center of town, but upstairs, actually, where the movie theater used to be, kind of out of the way. Nobody knew we were there. It was kind of really under the radar, and we were looking for a new space because we had outgrown it, and we were really fortunate to receive a substantial gift that allowed us to buy a building, which was awesome. And then we were able, with so much support from the community, to raise another $250,000 that is, to renovate the building. And we bought what was a law office, the old Hunt and Doherty law office on Route 28 next to Alouette Bistro. And we renovated that building and really designed it with the needs of the women we serve in mind. So it's the front is the law office, the old law office, and then we took the old parking lot in the back, garage in the back, and turned that into a little conference center with a little kitchen and a bathroom. And that's really small. That's like 500 square feet. But we can
nice, though, to have the separate
it's fabulous,
like
and we can do workshops for 15 to 20 people back in there. Tight but cozy.
Yeah.
And have food and have a handicap accessible bathroom, so it's all self-contained. So it's already started to revolutionize the way we provide services.
So you're officially open.
Oh, we're open. We've been there since early January.
Yeah.
Yep. And we can do so much of a better job now. We have much improved confidentiality. We have more space to do our programs than we did before, because we were all in one big room before. So
oh, yeah.
We feel very blessed.
Does all the programming happen at your location,
No.
or you have other locations?
Most of our programs happen at our location, but we do a fair amount of workshops and training, and we try to do those in a lot of different locations.
So take it to where the people are.
Yeah, and also because most of what we do is kind of unique, and other people aren't doing it, so we know it's difficult to access. So we try, when we do, like for example, we do a lot of legal work. Most of it is one-to-one consults with an attorney who comes to our office, and women come to our office. But we also do legal workshops. So, for example, this Saturday we're doing a legal workshop up in Sandwich at the Greenbrier Nature Center.
Okay.
And we have another workshop scheduled that we're working on that'll probably be in Falmouth, and another one in Hyannis. And we're also doing outreach for our mentoring program, and we're doing 7 sessions all around the Cape to try to reach out to people from everywhere. So we try really hard to do that. We're a small organization. We have 4 staff. I'm the only full-time. And then most of the work of our organization is done by volunteers.
How many volunteers do you
About
have?
200 volunteers.
Wow.
We have 40 attorneys, another 15 financial advisors, another 10 people who help around work support for people who are looking for work and want help with their resumes or work search processes.
Yep.
And we have about 20 women and men. Well, these are all women actually, but a lot of our volunteers are men as well. We have people who help us in our office. We have another 20 people doing that. And we have
for
another
some of the administrative work.
Yep. And answering the phones, which kind of ring off the hook.
Yeah.
And then we have folks who help us with events, and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so we couldn't do really. We have another 20 women who are mentors in our Pathmakers mentoring program. So we couldn't do any of what we do without volunteers. That's the key to our success.
Seems to be quite a bit of that out there. Yeah.
Yes. Only on Cape Cod is amazing.
I know.
It's really amazing that way.
And people step up. I mean, we had a earlier program, and it was just the number of people that are available to volunteer and share their time. With great
it's quite staggering. And also the talent that people have. I mean, we have a volunteer PR advisor who writes all of our press releases and helps us with public relations. We have a volunteer who does our website for us. We have a volunteer who helps us with design of brochures and things like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, we sort of have the model of we don't pay for anything, which is, you know, I feel bad about that in terms of the economy.
You wish you could,
but as an
it's certainly of that value.
Exactly, and it would be great to be able to do that, but with an organization, our budget this year is just a little under $300,000, but it's grown from when I came 3 years ago, we were under $200,000, so we've grown quite a lot.
Yep.
And, you know, most of the money is going to pay our staff and for some, you know, occupancy costs and things like that.
Yeah.
Doesn't leave much left over.
Right, for program support. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the programs. I know you just mentioned Pathmaker.
Yep.
That was that one.
So let me just say we do 4 things, just so people can hang on to it.
Yep.
So the first thing we do is a lot of information referral. People call us. I'm looking for housing. I'm looking for assistance paying my rent. I'm looking things that we maybe don't do. We refer out, and we have really good relationships with all the other organizations on the Cape. And then there are things that people are looking for that we do, and then we help them with that. So information referral is 1. 2 is legal services. We have 40 attorneys who come to our office and volunteer and do one-to-one legal consults with women. We don't represent women. We don't, you know, they come there and do it. They can come back again. And that's a service for women who couldn't afford an attorney on their own. And so we're able to do that through the kindness of Cape and Islands United Way and the Mass Bar Foundation. And we also do legal workshops. And 70% of that legal work is in the arena of family law. So divorce, child custody issues, guardianship issues, etc. But then we have all the other bankruptcy law, landlord-tenant,
yeah, 40 attorneys.
wills
that's
and
a lot.
estates.
When you first mentioned it, I thought that's
it's a lot of
collection.
attorneys. Yeah. And some of them don't come to our office, but allow us to call them and get information over the phone or whatever. But so that's our second service, is legal. The third is the mentoring that we started to talk with. So we have a program called Pathmakers, and it's a program for women like you and me who might feel that they need a little extra support, maybe because they're 55 and they're going back to school for the first time, or they're trying to start a business, or the woman I just mentioned I talked to today, who was had lost her spouse a year ago, and her support group, her bereavement group was ending, and she was kind of looking for something else. We have women who are going through a divorce, women who maybe have a cancer diagnosis. It could be anything, but they're looking for a little extra support. And then we have another 20 women like you and me who are at a point in life where they have a little time and energy to give back to someone else. And those are just regular women who want to do it. And so we have 20 of each, so we have a group of 40. And we're just starting to recruit for that program now. And what happens is a lot of the work is done between the pathmaker and her mentoring partner. So they create a one-to-one relationship where the mentoring partner walks alongside and really supports her. And then we also bring the whole group together once a month and do workshops that are sort of personal growth focused. So last month or 2 months, February, we had a workshop on self-care done by a woman who has struggled very, very valiantly with depression and has a lot of strategies that she's used and shared them. And this month, I think the workshop this Thursday is on communication. So we do all different kinds of things.
Yep.
And then we also do a monthly sort of peer support for the mentoring partners, because a lot of women who are mentors have never done that before. It's a new role.
Sure.
But what I think when I say women like you and me could be either, what I mean is that at any one time in our lives, you know, in an instant, life changes and your spouse passes away, and you were just going along, everything was great, and all of a sudden you need extra support, you know. Or 3 years from now, when you're sort of on track again, maybe you want to give back to somebody else. And so,
is it your organization, people in your office, that hook the two up?
Well, what we do is, it's actually really fun. What we do is we get all the people, and then we do what we call the big match event, and then we do it like a speed dating night. So we give all the information to the women who are the path makers. We give them a sheet from the intake of the mentoring partners. So they read about all these 20 women, and they rank 3 or 4 that they really want to talk to.
Okay.
And then that night, we're in a big, big room with a lot of small rooms, and they get to meet for like 15 minutes with each person that they were interested in, and then they put them in rank order. And somehow it all works out, and they have sort of selected the person they want to work with, because what we found is when we make the matches, it doesn't work.
Sure.
Because it's all about chemistry, and people tend to choose someone who's kind of where they want to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so the woman, I was thinking about some of the people, so the woman who's, you know, in the process of divorce might choose the woman who was divorced and is now remarried and has kind of gotten on with her life.
Yes.
Yeah,
that seems like a good system. Yeah.
Maybe not, you know. So that's the third thing. And then the fourth thing, we do a lot of workshops, training, and support groups. We try to have a divorce support group going on regularly because nobody else is doing that, and it seems to be a big need. We have one starting Wednesday night, and it's an 8-week group. And
so
it's
is it weekly?
It's a weekly group for 8 weeks,
okay.
And it's closed. So after the second week, no new people can come in. I think we have a waiting list for that this time, but sometimes we don't. So, and what we do is we have therapists who are volunteers, and what we ask them to do is, will you lead one 8-week session? And then when that one's over, we have another therapist who does another one, and so on. And then,
so is it something that's ongoing? So you always have
we try to always have one. What we
we
found is the summer, because of how people down here are working 5 jobs at once, that we haven't done well in the summertime. But otherwise, we tend to have one. Like one just ended a couple of weeks ago, and now we're starting up again. Yeah. That's what we try to do, just keep it going.
Yep.
And then we have a really cool workshop series called From Surviving to Thriving that is focused on really helping women figure out what holds them back and make progress, and that's a 6-week series. So we have things that are very short-term like that, and then like the Pathmakers is long-term. And then we, of course, are always happy to meet with people in our office or talk to them on the phone and see how we can help.
Right. So how many calls do you get in a day?
Hard to say in a day, but I could tell you last year we got a little over 2,000. We helped a little over 2,000 women, and we had a little over 4,000 contacts.
Wow.
So we're a busy, busy office.
Busy, busy.
Today the phone was just ringing off the hook. We couldn't keep up with it.
It's the weather.
Yeah. Usually, though, when it gets really nice out, then the phone quiets a little bit. Yeah. Everyone's outside.
It's like some therapy just in weather.
It's very busy.
Yeah. So were there other programs? I know I have the Pathmakers work support.
Yeah, I should talk about the work support, because that's an area we're trying to expand upon. Okay. We do a lot of one-to-one work, because what we find is that You know, there are a lot of other places where people can get groupie things, but people really want like help with their situation.
Yeah.
So with work support, we have women and men who will advise around maybe getting your resume up to date, or maybe thinking about how do you go about looking for work, or what is it you even want to do or could do or whatever. So
Yeah.
we call them work support sessions, and we do them one-to-one for like 45 minutes or an hour.
Probably more comfortable for a lot of clients than
Right.
hopping up in the middle of a
Yeah.
support group
And
asking questions.
Exactly. And we are getting ready to launch a work support boot camp, which I think we're going to be doing. I think we're starting that in May. I'm not sure. But it'll be up on our website when we do start it. And that will be for a group of like, let's say 15 to 20 women who are either looking for work, trying to maybe reinvent themselves, or maybe they're underemployed, they're doing something but they're not really happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be a group that will both support each other and break down the isolation, but also will bring on a lot of resources and people for them to talk to and listen to, and practice, practice interviewing, practice looking at resumes, looking at all of that.
Right.
So yeah, I think the biggest problem that I see from our office is finding work that sustains a family that's year-round employment.
Yeah.
I think that's the toughest thing on the Cape.
It is, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So a great resource for people.
We hope so.
Yeah, yeah. So surviving to thriving, we touched on that one.
Right.
Financial guidance?
So we call those financial empowerment sessions.
Okay.
One-to-ones with a financial advisor, a banker, an accountant, and again, 45 minutes, one-to-one. You bring your bag of things with you, and often it is a bag of things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, you have so much debt, how do you consolidate? Or how do you create a budget for yourself, for your family that's doable? How do you figure out financially maybe how to send your child to college? Could be, I've just gotten divorced, or I'm in the throes, and now I'm going to be managing my money for the first time, or I'm a new widow, or
Right.
And we have bankers from a lot of the banks. We have a number from TD Bank, Citizens, Cape Cod 5, people who manage this kind of thing in their day-to-day work, and then they come and do it for us.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Legal guidance we got.
Yeah, I think I gave you a good
Work
rundown
support.
on our
How about
programs.
suit yourself?
Oh, I
Only
didn't get
because
that
of
one
our
because
thrift
you
shop.
guys are involved, which
That's
is great,
right.
which is how we have the connection with the VNA. So people call us all the time and say, I have a whole wardrobe full of beautiful things, and I'd love to give them to We Can, and we don't have the capacity. So we got this idea, one of our volunteers got this idea, well, why don't we team up with already existing thrift shops? So what the program is that we've got a team, I think we've got 5 different thrift shops. We've got Thriftique with the VNA, the Family Pantries, Second Glance, the Hope Chest up in Orleans, and Mary's Closet and Sandwich, and the Emerald House in Falmouth. So we have them throughout the Cape.
Yeah.
And when people call us with that line of, I have all these clothes to donate, we let them know where they can donate them. So I just talked to someone the other day and sent her to Thriftique to donate some. She said, oh, I have these beautiful clothes. I don't want to just give them to the Salvation Army or bring them to the dump, you know? And so I explained,
Wisely.
no money changes hands, but we have people donate close to you, and then we are able to give women in our programs who are starting work or need work clothes a gift certificate to shop for free, essentially, at one of the thrift stores, and then it sort of all works out.
Yeah.
And we don't give those out to people just like willy-nilly. It's more like when we do the work support boot camp, we'll probably be giving people that. And when we're working with someone and we know that's what they need, we'll give that to them.
Yep.
But we don't just, we don't want people lining up at the door, oh, I came for my gift certificate.
Yeah.
It's got to really be part of a larger program.
Right. So funding for the programs?
So we're almost all privately funded. We've been able to have a little bit of money from the town of Harwich, but then we have grants, so like United Way or Cape Cod Foundation, or a number of the banks and community grant opportunities.
Yep.
Events, and we do a fair amount of events, and then individuals.
Okay.
And so, and I was going to mention a couple of things if that's
go right
okay.
ahead. No,
We've got
definitely.
some really fun events coming
Yeah.
up that will maybe intrigue different people.
Okay.
So one I mentioned to you, I guess if you're thinking health, I would have to say join our bike team and train all summer with us and ride in the Last Gas bike ride in September under the banner of we're under the United Way team, but we have our own team.
Okay.
Last year we had 30 people from ages 39 to 81.
Wow.
riding the 62 miles, and we raised more than $30,000 for our organization.
Remind people of the ride. It goes
So
from
the ride goes from Sandwich Marina up to Provincetown, and it's really fun.
You get a boat ride
back.
You get
a boat ride back
yeah,
and
so
a fabulous clam bake.
Yeah.
It's a really fun day, and plus we will work with you to train you all summer, so we do training rides all summer
for that
long.
last hill into P-Town.
Yeah, for the last gas hill, yeah.
Yeah.
So we do training rides all summer long, starting probably in late April, early May. And, which is great because then we also build a core of people that connect with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's great. And then Girls Night Out, which Puritan and Cape Cod Magazine do in late March, which I think is sold out. They do as a benefit. We're the beneficiary of that event. So any shopping you do at Puritan that night, we get a percentage of that. So if you're going, shop, shop, shop.
Yeah. Spend.
And we have a big fundraising event we do in June, which unfortunately fortunately is just about sold out. We do a day of words, wit, and wisdom. It's a literary fundraiser and kind of unique. And then Current Magazine, which is a new fashion magazine, is doing a really fun fashion show on April 4th at the Cape Cinema that we'll be the beneficiary of. And there'll be models that people will know, and then there'll be pop-up shops that people can look at some of the clothes from some of the shops.
Oh, yeah.
And appetizers and cash bar and music. Should be really fun. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's a local magazine, a new local magazine?
Yes, it's published by Amanda Converse, who owns Shift Boutique in Hyannis, right on Main Street. It's an Echo Boutique, and she has really cool clothes and a real entrepreneur that we want to support. So we're happy to be involved with that as well.
Where is she? Just for fun. Where is the Shift Boutique on?
It's right on Main Street in Hyannis. Do you know where? It's in that funny spot where what's Genvilla's? The Little Beach Gallery. It's right by the Little Beach Gallery. Okay. They're right kind of next to each other, I think.
Promote it for viewers in case they want to get out there and shop.
It'd be great. Yeah. So, and then a lot of individual donations, because we really count on that for our support.
That's a great list of fundraising opportunities, though.
Yeah, we're busy.
And fun.
Yeah, they're all fun.
Yeah.
We try to have fun with our organization because there's enough heaviness, so we try to do things that are fun and interesting.
Yeah. Do you have a good success story or two that you'd be willing to share?
Sure. We always have. We have many success stories, which is the thing that's sort of warms our heart, as we do the work, and especially when I think, that I answer the phone and talk to the people. But I was just thinking about one woman in particular who came to us, and I remember this because the day she came to us, she was waiting to see an attorney. She had moved up here from the South. She was in the process of divorce, and she was so rattled. She had been in a very abusive marriage, and she was so rattled that she locked her keys in the car the first day she came to our office, and she was just kind of like beside herself.
That was it, yeah.
And we helped her with attorney. She had to do some further legal work, and she came to a number of our legal workshops and our legal consults. And I'll never forget the day she called us up and she said, "I won my case and I did it myself," And then she was in our Pathmakers mentoring program as well. And then as a follow-up to that, she became a mentor in the program because she wanted to help other women.
Yep.
And she wants to start a business where she designs scrubs that are, specially designed for individuals, people who are in the medical field.
Right.
And I'm sure she'll do it.
Yeah.
I have no doubt about it.
That's great.
And then we've helped women. I think of another woman who started her own business. And she was also in our Pathmakers. What we find is often that people get involved with us very deeply for a short amount of time. Yeah. Like they come to the legal and the financial and they join the Pathmakers program. And in that 9-month or 10-month period when they're so intensely involved, they just make huge progress.
Nice.
And it's so fun to see. Yeah. Really, really makes a difference.
Do people stay with you for longer than that? Or
we're the kind of
tend to cycle through?
What tends to happen is people go away and come back, and they go away and come back. We're just talking about somebody. or something happens that they could use extra help with, and they know we're there. So like somebody just called us a couple of weeks ago who was in our mentoring program and who we've worked with, and she said, "I really need to get back to work. She had had surgery and hadn't been working for years, but she said, I think I'm ready." So she's coming in to see one of our work support counselors, and I'm guessing she might go into that work support boot camp. And she's somebody like we hadn't sort of seen for a year, and then she came back.
Oh, yeah.
So we try to say to people, also, if whatever we have told them about doesn't work, to please come back, that the door's open.
Yeah, try something else. Yeah. Well, believe it or not, we only have like 2 minutes left.
Oh, my goodness.
I know,
Okay.
it flies. So I wonder, is there anything that it's our opportunity, if we haven't touched on it, that you wish viewers would know about the organization or should know? Or
I guess I would just say, volunteers are our heart and soul. We often have wonderful people who have talent, so if you're thinking that you're looking for something to do, don't hesitate. And then I would say also that the focus of our organization is really empowering women. So we really try to walk alongside them while they're struggling with something. We don't do things for them, but rather, so like the woman who called us and said, I won my case and I did it myself, is sort of a great example of what our organization's all about.
Teach a woman to fish.
Exactly. That's exactly what our program director would say, and that's what we focus on.
Yeah, very good. Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time and all that great information. I'm sure viewers will love it.
Great. Well, we're always trying to figure out ways to work together, so I was delighted to come, Jeanne.
Yeah, this is great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm Jeanne Sarnosky, wishing you good health and good health care.